So I wanted to talk about misinformation and denial, which is really the dark underbelly of climate communication. And we really ignore that at our own peril. What the psychological research tells us is even if we get our climate communication perfect and craft it and fine-tune it, all that, the positive effect from that communication can be cancelled out by a virulent myth. And so it's not like good communication is necessary, but it's not sufficient. We also need to address misinformation and inoculate people against it. So I founded Skeptical Science around a decade ago, and the purpose of it was quite simple. It was just debunking misinformation with peer-reviewed science. Over that decade, we've built up a network of scientists and lay people all around the world who are all, I guess, what brings them together is a passion for climate communication and making a difference. Over that time, I also became aware of the psychological research into climate communication and learning things and really designing our communication based on that research. A good example is Ed's research finding that what people thought about the scientific consensus is a gateway belief, and it influences a whole range of climate attitudes, including support for policy. And so based on that, we did an analysis of climate papers, found 97% consensus amongst relevant climate papers. And when we published that, that got a lot of attention. President Obama featured it. Prime Minister David Cameron talked about it. But with all that attention, also a lot of negative attention came. Ted Cruz, Sarah Palin, Lamar Smith, Dana Rohrabacher have all attacked our research. And what we were doing is trying to close that consensus gap, the gap between what the public think and the 97%. And slowly it has been, but surely it has been improving. Now, next month, I'm moving to George Mason University in Virginia. I start my job almost exactly the same time that Trump starts his new job. And I don't know if that's coincidence or fate. I feel like I'm kind of being parachuted in at the time when we're really, it feels like we're possibly entering a golden age of misinformation on climate change, or a dark age probably is a better metaphor. And what we need is we really need to up our game in terms of researching what are the most virulent myths that need combating, what are the most effective ways of combating them, and what are the most effective ways to deploy communication strategies. And I think what David said really resonated. The key golden rule of debunking is fight sticky, simple myths with simpler, stickier facts and be persistent in communicating them. And I think that on that principle and really working hard to research and develop strategies, I think that's key over the